Whoa, that's way too close. Okay. Alright, so if you've stumbled upon this video, you've probably gotten the gist of what this channel is about. It is a lesbian film and TV show review channel by an actual lesbian. Woo! Like it makes a big difference or whatnot, but basically I have a hard time finding movies and TV shows that I can relate to because most shows and movies are about straight people. I mean, I'm not mad about it, but you know, kind of wish there was something for me to watch, you know? So I decided to scrounge, is that a good word? I decided to go all over the internet and write down a list of movies and TV shows that have a main lead or characters that identify with the LGBTQ community. In this video, I will be talking about a movie called Imagine Me and You. It is an hour-and-a-half film. It was produced in 2005, and I have a small list of things that I wanted to remember to talk about. So the main characters are Luce and Rachel, and you have some side characters, but those are the two that you're focusing on the most in this movie. And I figured I'd give a list of the actors and actresses that are within this movie because they are very familiar. So the woman that plays Luce is Lena Headey. You might recognize her from Game of Thrones. She played Cersei Lannister. Rachel is played by Piper Perabo. I'm probably butchering these names and I apologize. Anyway, you will recognize her from Cheaper by the Dozen. And it's a small character, but I feel that it needs to be said that Rachel's father is a very minor character in the story, but he's played by Anthony Head, who played Giles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I think is just amazing. Like, I grew up with Buffy, and it was so amazing to see him in the movie, because when I went around the internet looking for movies with LGBTQ characters in there, I was not paying attention to the actors and actresses that came up in like the wiki or whatever, but I just wrote down the titles of the movies and shows and decided to surprise myself. And I was pleasantly surprised with the array of actors and actresses in this movie that I recognized from other things. Okay, so needless to say, in the beginning, basically all the men in the beginning of this movie are very stereotypically disgusting and, you know, rude, and think women in particular are like pieces of meat that they need to shag and whatnot. As you get further into the film, however, it does lessen, so it's more tolerable. I mean, it's not terrible to act that way anyway, but like it becomes less and less noticeable in the show. So it's good to notice that Luce and Rachel, the two characters, they meet at Rachel's wedding, and she's marrying a guy, and yeah, that's a bit of a problem, but they work through, you know. But I want to make note that if you do watch this show, it is very I keep saying show, and it's a movie. Once you see this movie, you will see there's amazing chemistry between the two actresses, Piper and Lena, and it's just like an instant connection, and you can see that and you can feel that without them even so much as mentioning that they have a crush on each other or whatnot. I find it Heck, who is Rachel's husband, he's one of the very first people in the movie that discovers that Luce is a lesbian, and I loved how he was immediately very accepting of this. He was like, oh, okay, well, you're gay now, so, well, well, I could tell my wife to stop trying to set you up with my best buddy or whatever, you know. I loved how that even though Rachel is married to a man, they get married within the first few moments of the movie. When she starts getting closer to Luz, I like how that Rachel does not immediately become a lesbian. It's kind of like a slow going thing, and in the end it's not really lesbianism, it's more of bisexual, since it seems that she has profound love and caring for both genders. So that's a plus. Like, because some people like to say, oh, I was straight until I met her, and then boom, suddenly all I could think about were vaginas, you know, like, because that's not how the real world works. It's more like a slow process unless you already know that you're attracted to all kinds of genders. I also loved how with Rachel, she's in a lot of turmoil throughout this movie, because she just got married to her best friend, a man, and now she suddenly has feelings for a woman, and this is the first woman that she's had feelings for. And it's like amazing how you can tell and see the emotions across her face as she's dealing with issues with her sexuality. And she doesn't have to say a word, you can already understand it by the way that her emotions are portrayed on her body expressions. Oh great, my camera battery is about to die. Let me hurry this up. You could see the emotions of terror and depression as Rachel is exploring her sexuality. You realize this is not a walk through the park for her. She really is having a difficult time. And sometimes it is difficult for a person to realize their sexuality. Sometimes it's not like, oh, I'm gay, yay, that's great. Some people are actually quite terrified of it. That's why people tend to have the immediate question when they first come out, like, am I doing this wrong, you know? I wanted to sit there and say that Luz's mother and Rachel's father are completely hysterical. They have like a very good dry sense of humor that really lightens up the movie, even though you only see them briefly for a few moments in and out of the film. I also wanted to mention that when near the end of the movie, when Rachel's sister and decides she's no longer going to be with her husband, that she really does have feelings for Luz, her parents are immediately accepting. The mother seems to be a little off at first, but I feel like the things that she says are not meant in a rude way, but in like a comedic way to relieve the stress, sort of a thing. Also, and finally, there's not that many kissing scenes in there. There's no sex scenes between the women, and I think that is important because it shows that you can have a decent film that's relatable, a nice plot, without having to fill it up with sex scenes in order to make it prominently LGBTQ. So that's what my thoughts are. I know I am just one person out of a million in this world, so if you have a different opinion, feel free to comment below, but please do so politely, and I will understand your opinion, because I can always see both sides of the same coin. But as I said, please do so politely. There is no need for hatred and violence and nasty words, because we're all here to try and find nice, decent TV shows and movies to watch. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll get another video review up soon. Thank you.